What's up, y'all? Welcome back, man. It's Dap with another one at the Pinks Podcast. Today we got a special guest for y'all. RAHMEL HOLLAND, live from the block, aka Uncle Rock. Make sure y'all tune in today. It's gonna be fire, man. Big A-Big. Y'all know I had to take Uncle Rob top, man, straight down Albany Avenue and Great Neck Road, straight to the block, nigga.
Storm.
Right, real quick. Big Uncle Rob. Block with Uncle Rob, man. Yeah, man, a lot of memories in this place, man. A lot of money made in this area back in the day. So, of course, we're not glamorizing that, you know what I'm saying? But we bring it to the forefront like everybody else telling their story. We want to tell our story, you heard? Super facts, Uncle Rod. It's only right, man. This is the history. Niggas gotta know the history so they know where they going, you heard? When I first moved out here with my family in 75, we came from South Jamaica, away from, you know, the things that was going on out there. Little did she know that just a few blocks from where we moved, it was a bigger drug spot than it was when we was on South Road. So, you know, ironically, a few years later, we ended up on this corner. You know, yeah, this was a $1 million block at one time. You know, a lot of bread came through here. A lot of big names came through. You know, we all grew up together. Some of us went left, some went right. You know, God bless, still here. I got a picture of myself standing right across the street in a fur coat while it was bulldozing.
Yes.
What year was that again?
That was 89. February 89 is when they bulldozed it. I remember when I got married in 88, it was in September 88, the block was already closed. They had a fence around it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was already closed. Then maybe 6 months. But see, the thing, it wasn't the fact that they were shutting the block down. The fact is they were supposed to put low-income housing here. So that's why everybody was like, okay, if that's what y'all gonna do, they never did it.
They never did it.
The plan was just to get rid of the block.
Right.
Which in a way was sad because there was a lot of black business that never came back to the neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was the irony of the whole thing, you know? Yeah, because you know they had plans and it was in the newspaper how they was gonna build like a little, you know, apartment complex here. So I guess something like similar to like Clovis did. So eventually they bought everybody out, all the businesses out,
Right.
and they bulldozed it, and it stayed bulldozed for years. And finally they built it up and they put a Rite Aid here, maybe 10 years later.
So now the other thing was people were saying with so many addicts and drugs being here, once the block was closed, that it pushed the drugs and the addicts into the neighborhoods, into the residents.
Exactly. So what it was it was something to be complained about because of the drug area and drug addicts and stuff like that. But what they didn't realize is when they shut this down, it was crackheads in crack houses in every neighborhood.
Right.
So now it's all spread out. At one time it was concentrated just in this area.
Right.
Mostly. Then they in the sticks, in the flats. They opened up every other abandoned house turned into a crack house. So in a way it made it worse.
It made it worse.
You know? But you know, you can't knock them, and you know, and now as being old as a father, being a grandfather, you know, you say to yourself, man, you know, I'm not proud of being a part of that. And I'm glad I made the transformation and got out of that lifestyle.
Right.
And you know, you look back on it and you say to yourself, man, could I have done things different? But
you can't knock the hustle.
You know, it is what it is, man. It turned Yeah, not the hustle. You heard
I had a good woman. She steered me in a whole nother direction. You know, I had my children. I ain't want them being influenced by this nonsense. So, you know, I ended up leaving that alone. And I know people to this day that's still addicted from back then. You know, I had a talk with a guy I see on the way to work one day, and every time I see him, I gave him money. And we used to talk, and I used to tell him, yo, man, every day I see him, I get up early in the morning, I can be at the yard at 5 in the morning, so 4:30, I go get my coffee, and I be sitting there talking to him, and I'm like, I give him money, I buy him breakfast, give him a couple cigarettes, and I ask him, I'm like, yo, man, when you gonna retire from this shit? We always doing that shit, getting high as teenagers and young adults in our 20s. Now you in your 60s. Like, it's time to, I was like, how many kids you got? He said, I got 5 kids. I mean, how many grandkids you got? He said, I got 10. I said, yo, man, you want this to be what your grandkids look at years later? This is what it comes to? And he ain't listening to me. And shortly after that, maybe a month after that, he ended up getting in a fight and killing the dude. And at 60 years old, he had to cop out to 18 years. Wow. And it was all over chasing the drugs, you know? So,
the crack epidemic was crazy. I know it was crazy out here, man.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy, man. You know, like I said, we started off with this dude selling our little weed. Once they had that bust in 81, you know, I came here to get a breakfast sandwich one morning. Because we didn't really even come over here to sell weed, because older dudes, grown men that was our parents' age, that was the place that was safe for us to be, where they wouldn't give us no problem.
Right.
So once they raided out here and they knocked all of them out, I came over to get a breakfast sandwich one morning, and this is before crack came out, and they was like, it was heroin addicts around.
Yeah.
Now I'm from the city. I'm from Queens. I got family in Harlem. I know all about that. Yeah. But I never wanted to deal with it. So I'm talking to the heroin addict. She's like, yo, if you know what I know, ain't no competition. If y'all smart, y'all switch over. And that was it, man. A couple of weeks later, we made the transformation. You know, making 2-3 G's a week in high school back in 82, 83
Right.
Wow.
was a lot of money. You know?
Absolutely.
And then, of course, it went up, and then the crack came out. And another thing about this is one of the first areas in Long Island. Not even in Long Island. Amityville had crack houses before Harlem.
Wow.
The dude that brought crack to New York put crack houses in Amityville, Wyandanch, and Westbury.
Wow.
The Wyandanch and Westbury shit kept getting raided, but this shit stayed open for years. Now, when they got arrested, when they got busted a year later, all the fiends was already coming here because there was no place else to get it. And that's when I started talking about that $400,000 and $500,000 a day. It was about 10 crews of dudes out here, you know what I'm saying, making 50, 60 a day, you know? Yeah, it was
making the portion of that from counting.
It was the time.
Definitely 100.
You want to talk about that?
It's Uncle Rod.
Yo, all right. Hey, yo, real quick, Uncle Rod, man, tell them the difference between big block, little block, man. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, to break down the history real quick.
All right, well, like I said, we call this the big track, because this is where the gambling spots was. This is where they had this was like grown men right here. If you look at it, you would look at it like this was the pros. Over there was college.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And you graduated from that to come here.
From the little block to get to the big block.
Because at the time, we was at the age where our mother would come and bust us in the head if they caught us on this side. That side, we could get away with it. Then eventually, they ended up making a game room here. They put a pool hall here. So now, it's not like they could say, oh, it's a place for us to go now,
right.
You know? But it was so many things that, they had the Key Center over here across the street. You had the A Center, you know what I'm saying, with the school lunches and the what was that? You know, it had the summer camp.
Yeah. So there was a lot of things going on out here. Amityville Day was beautiful. There used to be like,
definitely.
no lie, like 10, 15,000, 20,000 people here from the block. From the block all the way to Hollywood Baptist Church.
Wow.
And all the back streets.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that shit was like Harlem Week, man. I had never seen nothing like it, and I'm from the city.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, man. You seen something different. What you see the difference when you came out here though? Like what kind of mindset was you in when you first seen Amityville? Like, wow.
When I came here, I was a child, man. I came here like 15, 16.
Okay.
But I was in tune to the drug shit, because prior to this, my mother had stumbled with drugs. And I seen her. We used to go to South Road, 150th in Queens. That's where she used to get her shit at. So what she did was she went into the rehab. We went to live with our grandparents for like a year, and then she moved us here, not knowing that the block was here. You know. So maybe a few weeks later, we drove up here to get a Chinese restaurant was open. There was a barber shop. The 70s, I seen at least 5 people stay alive over nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I seen a dude get killed in this parking lot by a guy for saying something to a dude's wife. Right? Ironic. And I'm gonna tell you who it was. Right now, you ever know who Big C was? Big C, he was a notorious nigga. Big 6'5", 300 pounds.
Yeah, I heard him.
Cut on his face, vicious dude. They used to live in a house that was across the street, and he had a beautiful girlfriend. And he was real jealous. Now, what I heard about him, he came out here, he was mad bodies because he's from down south. Coming home from school on the bus, he see a dude laid out, covered up. And then we find out the story that dude had said something to the dude's girlfriend. Dude walked out the house right across the street. The guy was standing on the strip. Tried to run, shot him, he fell, he came and stood over, shot him 4 more times.
Wow.
And caught a manslaughter.
Wow.
Caught a manslaughter, right? This would be like 1979.
Wow.
A decade later, he got killed the same way down by the ground.
I heard a story like that.
Nigga stood over him and killed him.
Like he got hit with a shotty or something.
Yeah, he got shot. He got shot in the face in front of the park, and he was begging for his life. But he threatened the dude that knew how dangerous he was. And that dude, of course, this was years later. He walked up on him with a shotgun and shot him in the face right there. Now, ironically, if you know anything about a crime scene, right? This is how notorious this dude was. If you know anything about a crime scene, when somebody passes away, they put the yellow tape like 40 yards away from wherever the body is at. He was so notorious. He was so hated. They put the yellow tape like right there, so that anybody, because you can't go past the yellow tape. So the whole neighborhood was standing there. They set him out there from 12 o'clock in the night in the morning until 6 o'clock at night, and the August sun uncovered up with his whole shit blown off. So like I was just like, even the police was like, man, dude, not to be disrespectful to his family, because I know he got family members, but so did the people who he killed. You know, he was a notorious scary dude. Even when we was young, we said that if we ever were to get into a widow, if we were ever to get into a widow, we would have to do him filthy, because he's totally capable of killing you or your mama or whatever. He was a vicious dude, man.
That was Big C, right?
Yeah, he was a vicious dude.
Hey, yo, let me ask you one more question real quick, man.
Right.
So, probably over here, while the block was moving around doing this thing, what was going on Browns down the block? Because,
Browns was quiet. Browns was more like they had the bar down there, God, the name, is it Granny's Lair? No. Was it Granny Lair? Well, they had, They had the numbers popping down there. Uncle Kurt had to pull on. It wasn't a lot of that. The drugs really didn't start moving down there heavy until the mid '80s. When the block used to shut down, that's where everybody used to go for on the late night. But that didn't really start popping till the mid '80s. This shit was popping from the '70s. This was a big, even before when we was kids, there was tens of thousands of dollars being made on this block on the Hamron. Yeah, man.
So Rob, how did you feel about the block closing down? After being closed down after so many years of making money and people coming through, and this was a part of the society where everyone got together. I know it was controversial when it came to Miss Clinton coming to an area of shutting it down to make it safe for the kids to walk through for school.
Yeah, well, it got to a point where it got really bad because what happened is a lot of people came from out of town.
Right.
That's when the killings start.
Right.
And once that happened, then, you know what I'm saying, that's when it got relatively worse. And people actually started picketing. And it's just a matter of time before it came to an end.
Right.
Because so if you're a smart person that I wasn't ready to finish what I was doing.
Right.
But I know I couldn't do it here.
Right. That was the question.
whole terms of don't shit when you eat.
Right.
And personally, I took my show on the road like a lot of guys out here.
Right.
A lot of dudes came from here, went to Virginia. I was in D.C., Maryland, and Philly.
Right.
And went down there and we ain't got the bag.
Right.
But this is where it all started. When we learned how to move, and made a lot of good friends here. Lost a lot. And fortunate to still be here, man. It's a blessing. Definitely a blessing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. That was it, man. And I remember when they shut it down. First, they closed all the stores. They put a gate around it, and that was it, man.
That was it.
I was on the train, Amtrak, going to Washington D.C.
Right. So I asked the question because during that time, it was so controversial about why is the block shutting down, and we know that there was children walking past the cross.
No question.
And at a certain time, in a certain era of time of this, the block began to get separated, where the beef was on this side, and there was others standing on that side. Or standing on this side and others standing on that side. And it was crossfires and back and forth, and there was a lot of kids.
This block right here was what you could have called the big track, which was the big block, where the majority of the money was made.
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars every day.
Daily.
But also that side, if you looked at it, and you would look at it like when I first started, I didn't start hustling on this side.
Right.
The older guys had this. Grown men had this locked down. Right? So we would hustle on that side. Started off selling a little weed, running the cars. Eventually, we got into narcotics, and we used to hustle out that little bar. And in 1981, I was
which was young.
They had a raid, and they locked up all the old heads. It was like 50 people went to jail. We was little dudes on that side. Now this side is empty. That's when we all went on this side and started getting in. And we basically took this shit over until the bulldozers came. Now this is 81. They finished it off in 88. Block for real.
Something
History right here, y'all.
I want to ask a question when you're on camera too.
Is that one taken? Right here.
1985.
1985.
Get that shadow out of there. Inside of the wall right here.
What you put?
Right on the side of the wall.
What's up, y'all, man? Y'all know we sitting over here live with Uncle Ra, the block with Uncle Ra. I just wanted to read a newspaper clipping, man. This shit was real. Dealing with Uncle Ra, he gonna explain it. Yeah, hold on. Alright, the clash at the corner. Cops pelted after sweeping North Amityville. A half a dozen Suffolk County police officers was pelted with bottles and debris when confronted by a crowd of 200 people gathered on the infamous corner in North Amityville Wednesday night. No one was injured in the melee, but 10 people were arrested on disorderly conduct and drug-related charges. For the past 2 weeks, a team of Suffolk County police and prosecutors has staged a crackdown on drug dealing, prostitution, and other crimes taking place at the corner of Albany Avenue and Great Neck Road. Accounts differ about what caused the Wednesday night's eruption. Police say the crowd became abusive when officers tried to arrest a man accused of drinking beer in public. Other witnesses say the situation got out of hand after police manhandled a 15-year-old girl. However, most law enforcement sources familiar with the situation contend that the fracas was a sign of growing resistance to the crackdown. Though precise figures was unavailable yesterday, police and assistant district attorney familiar with the situation said that 5 to 10 people at the corner have been arrested each day for the past 2 weeks. Police have said that since January 1st, 547 arrests have been made there on charges of selling crack and other drugs and promoting prostitution. We're looking to reclaim the community and get the people who are destroying it out of there, said Kerry Trainer, the assistant Suffolk prosecutor who heads the task force. The likely accommodation we're looking for is the jail. The arrests were, continued Suffolk County officials precise, saying that they were undaunted by the threat of violence raised Wednesday night. According to the Lieutenant John Something of Suffolk County's 1st Precinct, 6 police officers making a routine sweep of the area have made 3 arrests on drug possession charges and were dispersing the crowd shortly after 9 p.m. We told everybody to go home, he said. It looked like it was all under control. However, hold on.
It was all under control.
However, some of the officers attempted to disperse a group of hanger-ons. In so doing, they encountered Tyrone Holland, 24, North Amityville, who they said was illegally drinking a can of beer. Rather than receive a summons, Holland attempted to run. Rain, they said. At that point, somebody decided to throw bottles, he said, adding that 20 to 25 more police officers quickly arrived to quell the disturbance. They flooded the area with policemen and cars, and everybody decided to go home except 2 who were arrested. Holland was released on $700 station house bail after being booked for resisting arrest and obstruction of governmental administration. He also received a summons for public drinking. 4 others were taken into custody and charged with possession of crack or marijuana, and 5 other people, including 3 juveniles, were charged with second-degree rioting and or resisting arrest. Benita Lewis, who lives nearby, disagreed with the police account. Lewis, who was walking home at about 9 p.m., said she saw a group of people gathered in front of the former Department of Social Service building at the corner. There was a teenage girl who they had in handcuffs, Lewis said. The crowd said, it doesn't take all of you cops to get that one little girl. They had the girl throwing on her back and forth on the car. Everybody got mad and started throwing bottles and stuff at them. A police source said that a 15-year-old girl was interfering with the arrest of Holland, trying to get in between the officers and yelling and getting into the middle of the fray. The officers arrested her. She got shoved. Apparently, that's what upset people. Police said the girl was charged with juvenile delinquency. Neighbors generally backed the police in their handling of the situation. The police were doing what they should have been doing for years, said Edmund Larson, president of North Amityville Taxpayers Association. Moving these people on has the complete support of the community. But Betty White, who lives near the corner, said she was fearful. I'm afraid to leave here anymore because these conditions, the cops come out and act irrational. The people in the neighborhood act irrational. And when the bullets fly, who are they going to hit? I've been here 20 years and I never saw a reaction like I saw last night. White said. They are going to try and block our efforts, but we are not quitting, said acting Suffolk County Executive Michael LeGrand, who earlier this year ordered the abandonment of the county social service building at the intersection because employees felt threatened. More has to be done. I'm simply not going to sit and let anarchy take over, not while I'm county executive. And that's the truth.
Huh?
Word.
Now look, and here go the other part to that, where it says they closed down. They closed down the social service. You think they was looking to close it down? Shortly after that, they closed it down.
Right.
I was in the 88, 87, 88. My mom was like, yo, you know they tearing the block down today. I said, what? So I went and got my camera. And I went up to the block, and I was taking pictures of the block getting torn down, all stages of the block getting torn down. On the 10-year anniversary, they put, what I didn't know was Newsday was on Florida taking pictures of the block getting torn down from a distance.
And from the air. Oh.
And I happened to look in the newspaper. I'm like, I was there that day.
That's how I got his picture.
And the only reason I know it's me because I seen the fur coat. I know that's my fur coat. And I got a picture in the fur coat.
Yeah, that's,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a monumental
I was like, yo, that
picture.
was me. And I also got the pictures of the block being torn down that I personally took. I didn't know about them.
Oh, you could have sold them to
Right, you understand what I'm saying?
Watching you.
Huh?
Yeah, they was watching.
They wasn't really watching me. I just happened to be in their frame when they was, because I didn't know about the
picture. They was
picture.
watching the whole block.
They was taking pictures. You know, Newsday was there to take pictures of the block being torn down, but they happened to be, because they had the telephoto lens, they was parked on Floral on the hill. I'm parked directly across the street from the block. So they got me from the back. It wasn't until I saw the picture in the newspaper, I'm like, wait, hold up. I said, oh shit. And I threw it up on Facebook with the picture of me in the fur coat. I was like, yeah, that's me when they was tearing the block down, you know?
So, like, break down the block. So you got big block, little block, Sugar Hill. Like, what's the location like?
You go like that was like when I was coming up, that's where a lot of people used to park their cars on that strip, right? Sugar Hill, as y'all younger generation know, it didn't really come into play until the 90s. And all those young dudes from off of there, BU and B Funky and all of them.
I remember them, yeah.
Huh?
I remember when
that's like
that.
early
What's his name?
early
Tommy,
90s. Huh?
Tommy something, white boy down there.
Early
too.
90s, you know, they
Figueroa.
Huh?
Tommy Figueroa, white boy was down there.
You coming from Browns and you come down Auburn and you go over the right at Greatness and you got left on Floral. Everybody parks up that hill, Sugar Hill, to walk down into the block.
That's a fact.
That's where they get that from. It's a lot of
that's where that Sugar Hill thing come from. The gang called the Seven Crowns, and this is in the 70s. But they wasn't into dealing. They used to sell like weed. But you know, when we moved out here, now our grandmother lived around the corner, so now I'm watching their progression. Every time I go out there, they selling weed, and the next thing you know, you see them doing their thing, you know. But because my mom was, to this day, she's a beautiful woman, but back then, she was a quarter. You know what I'm saying? So, walking to the store with moms was always like, you know
everybody on her.
That's part one of the block mini-series. You know, I want to thank that and the Pink Jelly podcast, man. We're going to put a nice little thing together for y'all. Thank you for being pulling up, you know. It's going to go down.
Yeah, thank you, Doc. Pink Podcast, #1 on the Amityville charts out here.
Wow.
That's right.
That's what it is.
LIG shit.
The Pink Jelly.
Reporting live from the Pinks. Certified voice of L.I. in the place. What up? I heard these niggas still sleeping on Long Island. Well, pull up so we can really speak about it. Yeah, I know everybody be keeping it 1,000. Niggas be squatting, they probably be sleeping on their couches. Let's do a podcast together, nigga. Is you wildin'? I'm really about to unveil the streets, king of Long Island. Ayo, New York, my bad, I'm sorry for the wait. But don't worry, y'all niggas gon' finally see my face. I'm only doing this cause Long Island get erased. And I'm tired of y'all niggas acting like we ain't put on for the state. Cause we do. I represent for the streets of Long Island. And I'm pulling up for the beef for Long Island. They not me, they nobodies on Long Island. Dap, I'm the face and the voice of Long Island. I represent for the streets of Long Island. And I'm pulling up for the beef for Long Island. Damn, they not me, they nobodies on Long Island. Dap, I'm the face and the voice of Long Island.